Hi there, Sandy Freshy here, back with another video. We are continuing our conversation about procrastination. And today's topic is about why you may procrastinate on your own well-being. And I want to give you one thing that you can begin to practice to overcome that. So if you are new to this channel, I invite you to subscribe and hit that little notification bell so that you're notified of when new videos get uploaded. And if you like this video and find it helpful, please like it and please share it with anyone else you think would benefit. So, why you may procrastinate on yourself. Let's start there. And if you did not see the previous video, the previous conversation we had about recognizing what is procrastination and what is not, please go back and watch that. I will put a link so that you can find that easily. And at the end of that video, we talked about how there's one thing that you do not want to procrastinate upon, and that is the actions that you need to take for your own self-care and your own well-being. So why do so many of us procrastinate on doing things that we know are good for us? And I'm not talking about that necessarily that area of, oh, I need to go out and run 3 miles every day so I can lose 20 pounds. That's something that you really need to work with to get clear about whether or not that's actually something that you're designed to do, because we talk about these topics on this channel in the context of your human design blueprint. So just know that we're not zoning in on those specific things because you are an individual. But there are certain things, if you're resonating with this topic, that you procrastinate on. And this is a topic that's near and dear to me because I have had a lifetime of putting other people before myself. So what is that about? Well, it is about, it could be about your energy type, or it could be about your conditioning. So in my case, it's a little bit of both, and it could be for you as well. I'm an energy type, a projector who is naturally designed, where my energy field is naturally designed to focus upon other people. I am here for other people. So my energy and my attention naturally goes that way before it comes to me. You could be designed, or you could be conditioned in a way where you were trained, and this is a cultural kind of a conditioning for many of us, where we're trained to take care of others before we take care of ourselves, because it's bad or it's sinful to focus upon ourselves, or we judge it as selfish to focus upon ourselves first, when in reality the way to ultimate productivity is to really make sure that your own needs are met first. Like when you're flying in an airplane and they're doing the safety lecture and they tell you that you put your own oxygen mask on before you put your child's oxygen mask on. It's the same kind of thing. But either because of the way that we're designed or the way that we have been conditioned, we can have that automatic focus out here and then totally forget about what's best for us. So let's look at some of the examples of how this can show up in your daily life. If you work from home, how many times have you looked up in the past month or so and realized that you never got out of your pajamas and the workday is over? Or if you have a spouse or children or family members that you need to take care of, how many times do you neglect your own basic needs, like maybe brushing your teeth first thing in the morning, or having your breakfast, or taking a few minutes of quiet time? How many times do you neglect that because you perceive that you need to meet the needs of that other person or those other people before you actually can take time for yourself? Over the long run, and I know sometimes, there are things that crop up in terms of emergencies and things like that, and you just have to go with it. But over the long run, if you continue to make that a practice and a habit, you are going to deplete yourself and your own sense of alignment, so that you get disconnected from your own flow and understanding of what's best for you in terms of how you're designed to operate in the world. You're going to get disconnected generators and manifesting generators from your sacral response. Projectors, you are going to get disconnected from what feels best in your body, or in all the other empathic and open people who have designs who are very open, and you're taking on energies of others. You're going to get disconnected from your own inner wisdom and your own timing. And this habit of procrastinating on yourself will perpetuate procrastination in other ways. So, what's one thing that you can do to begin to change that habit of putting yourself second in your life? I want you to make your well-being a big rock in your life. And maybe you've heard of the big rock theory, where when you go to plan out your day, you put your big priorities, and you can use the analogy or the imagery of like filling a jar with rocks, okay? And you have maybe big rocks and little rocks, and then you have sand. The big rocks are the things that you anchor in as your priorities. So, for instance, if you have a habit of skipping your first meal of the day because you're tied up in working, or taking care of someone else, or just tied up in other things in general, just distracted, and of course that will throw your whole body and your metabolism off. If that's one of your habits, then your first big rock is to make sure you get that meal in. And then everything else can flow around that. Your little priorities: make this phone call, make the lunch for your child to take to school, whatever your other priorities are, will be your smaller rocks. And then the sand that goes into your jar are all the other little things that can kind of flow around this one big rock of self-care. So I want to invite you, after you watch this video, to think about or to consider, and this goes back to the previous video, where you have an unmet need that you could meet, that would be your big rock. And make a habit, or begin to practice putting that one thing into place every day as your first habit, your first overcoming procrastination on yourself habit, into your jar of other priorities and rocks and sand and all of that, using that metaphor. So what's that one thing that you can do, that you can anchor in, that would take care of yourself, so that everything else can flow around, so that the rest of your day or your week or your month can flow around that one thing? So that's what I have for you today, and I invite you to leave comments about that if you want, and leave your questions about procrastination and self-care in the comments below. And until the next time, be well.